In a typical 4 days, 3 night exercise, I do pretty fine without any sleep. Hi, I'm Colonel Anand, Commander 6th Division, Headquarters Sense and Strike. I'm here to answer some questions on Kopitiam. I'm not much of a foodie, but with my wife's cooking, I turn into a full foodie. And if you ask me to pick one in particular, I probably will pick the nasi lemak to die for. Drink, of course, my usual teh o kosong hot in the morning. I tend to get up quite early in the morning, which is about 4 in the morning. What? When I was younger, I delivered papers. I was a newspaper boy, so usually I get up quite early and that kind of stuck with me. No matter what time I sleep, I get up quite early in the morning. It kind of works in our profession because in the army you need to be out in the field. In a typical 4 days, 3 night exercise, I do pretty fine without any sleep. Wow. I joined the army at the age of 16 under the joint Poly SAF diploma scheme. Back then the study award allowed me to fund my poly education. I signed on as a signal specialist and I crossed over to the officer cadet school. Me being rebellious by nature and wanting to test the limits of any environment I am in, I didn't think I would survive. But along the way, I was very inspired by many leaders that I met. I enjoy being in a profession where I can influence and touch lives. I guess if I didn't join the army, I would have been a teacher, a sports coach, or what in these days is also a profession called life coach. It's probably one of the few professions I know where people put you in a challenging yet nurturing environment. There's always someone that you can ask for help. The people have this immense sense of duty. When put to the task, NS men, regulars as well as NSFs, also rising to the challenge. Which brings me to my last point now, which is team spirit. The army is a team sport and there's an immense desire to be part of the team and to make it work. When I started off in the SAF and in the army, Signals was embarking on what we call digitizing the army. We're moving from an analog army to a digital army where we interconnect platforms, fighting forces, so that we can fight a lot better in an integrated fashion. Then I was put in the intelligence ecosystem. It also allowed me then to be part of a community that was trying to bring advanced intel technology, like UAVs, drones, data analytics. Finally, now I see myself as Commander 6th Division, talking about a new capability area called Sense and Strike. The career has also allowed me to appreciate the fact that the organization is always looking for the next challenge and continuing to trust its people to rise to the challenge. What Sense Strike really changes in the battlefield is, of course, you're able to do more with less. You're able to achieve the same effect in the battlefield because you have a lot more intelligence and you have a lot more firepower. It's extremely exciting to have a lot of technology available today. And with our tech-savvy soldiers, I think the potential is limitless. I took Malay as a second language. I did my primary education in St. Andrews Junior School. And in my year of cohort, we just didn't have enough ethnic Indian boys to have Tamil as a curriculum. So the school gave us two options. One was to take another language, Malay or Chinese. And the second option was, of course, to go to Anglo-Chinese, ACS primary, to take Tamil after hours. Now, my father was an old boy, so Malay was chosen. And 10 years on, I look back, not too bad a decision actually. I did my staff college in Malaysia. And of course, I did another advanced course in Indonesia. Understanding the language as well as the culture of the people made it a lot easier for me to interact with other militaries in the region. However, we still do speak Tamil at home. Vitiligo actually is an autoimmune disorder. Essentially, it's a decoloring of your pigment cells. There's no known medical cure for it. And to be honest, it's quite endearing to me and it's become a part of me over time. Friday nights and Sunday nights are usually wife time. We don't really call it date night because sometimes it's just at home lounging on the sofa. Sunday mornings are quite sacred for breakfast time between my son and me. And usually he uses the time to share things with me which he thinks otherwise may not be possible to share with his teachers or especially his mother. Don't tell my wife, but I think I'm his favorite. hobbies are things you get into, you lose yourself, and then you embark on what I call geek speed, that only the few hobbies to enjoy the hobby do. So when I was younger, I spent a lot of time with the guitar figuring songs out, and motorbiking, even heading out to places where there are actual racetracks, where you can ride and you can feel the wind and the speed. And as well as getting onto the skateboard, you can actually feel the adrenaline come at you. So I really enjoy that. The first one is self-leadership. In any situation, in any environment, if you cannot exercise self-leadership, meaning have the discipline, make yourself feel a little bit uncomfortable, try new things, then it'll be a bit challenging for you to do your job. The second one is actually really leadership by example. When you roll up your sleeves, when you go through the pains that people need to go through, right? People kind of appreciate and they kind of inspired as well, that you're willing to view the world from their perspective rather than just sit on a chair and give an instruction. And the final one is leadership by care. We see our people in the uniform, but actually what's really important is to see them outside the uniform. If you can start to understand the person as a whole, that they actually have a birthday, they're part of a family, and there are other things that also bother them, I think the leadership lessons and what you plan to do will stick. I personally find that the biggest challenge is to make decisions that will help the future, but will also require a lot of hard work today, which may not exactly result in the fruits of our labor now. But I personally see it as that whole nexus between stewardship and leadership, that balance between making sure the leadership of today and the efforts of today are something people believe in so that the future will always benefit. The first one is having the humility to learn. Whether people are younger or older, the rank is temporary, the person is permanent. The second thing I live by, of course, is that seize every day. And the final one, of course, is learn to laugh at yourself. Thank you for watching this edition of Kopi Talk. See you guys around.